of the conference. I request one and all to stand for the national anthem. Please stand one and all.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Welcome our new evaluator, Dr. Sunil Khatal sir. Thank you, sir. Now we will proceed to our third session. We will proceed to our third session of the international conference. At this instant, we are having knowledgeable and eminent speaker. And I promise that this session will be beneficial for you. I request Dr. S.S. Bere sir to introduce our third speaker, Dr. Mycel ma'am.
Hello? 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 Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. On behalf of the Dattakala group of institution, I, Dr. Bere, Sachin Bere, would like to introduce one of keynote speaker, Dr. Mycel ma'am. Dr. Mycel ma'am is an associate professor in the Department of Electronics Engineering at University of Science and Technology of Southern Philippines. She earned her doctorate of philosophy in electrical engineering from Department of Electrical Engineering at Southern Taiwan University of Science and Technology in Taiwan City, Taiwan. Dr. Mycel ma'am has extensive experience in teaching, research and academic leadership since March 2023. She has served as the chairperson of Electronics Engineering Department at USTP, where she leads the development and implementation of academic programs, oversees faculty development initiatives, and supports curriculum innovation to align with evolving industry standard and technological advancements. In addition to her administrative and teaching responsibilities, Dr. Mycel ma'am actively contributes to the advancement of scholarly communication. She currently serves as the editor-in-chief of the Mediana Journal of Science and Technology, where she oversees the editorial process and promotes high-quality research publication in science and engineering. Dr. Mycel ma'am taught at Mediana State University, Iligan Institute of Technology, gaining valuable experience in engineering education. Throughout her academic career, she has mentored and guided numerous undergraduate and postgraduate students, particularly in the specialized areas of biomedical engineering and microelectronics. Her commitment to education and research continues to contribute to the development of future engineers and the advancement of technological innovations. I would like to call Mycel ma'am. Thank you.
I request respected Dr. Mycel ma'am to start the session.
Yes. Hello.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Ah, yes. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Oh. So, hello everyone. Namaste. So, my title for this slide may be a little bit different, but we'll get there to my dissertation back when I was a PhD student in Taiwan. So first, I want you to know a little bit about what I'm working on. Okay. Know a little bit about what I'm working on in the biomedical engineering. So, in general, I'm going to talk about decoding the human body through physiological signals. So, our body produces a lot of signals that indicate about our health. So, we can use it to diagnose and monitor our well-being. So what if we could listen to our body in real time? So right now there's a lot of wearable technology. So like smartwatches, straps, we have apps that we can see our heart rate, our blood oxygen saturation, things like that. So it could reveal a lot about our health, emotion, and performance. So this modern technology allows us to capture and interpret them. So I think we are familiar with a lot of this wearable technology. So we can use it to monitor heart rate, blood oxygen levels, breathing rate, our muscle activity. If we feel stress or emotion, yes, we can measure that. Then we can also diagnose for cognitive function, movement patterns, sweat analysis, and sleep. So I think you've already heard a lot of devices that monitors sleep patterns. So where are we studying physiological signals. So mainly, that's for early disease detection. We can use it for continuous monitoring. Personalized medicine, so each of us are unique in some certain ways, so we can adjust how we administer medicine. And for sports, so we can monitor human performance. We can optimize how we can do sports and exercise. So of course, we already have smartwatches, so the Apple Watch, so they can sense heart rate abnormalities if we have arrhythmia. Some also can detect if there's fall detection. Then we can also use it for stress monitoring in workplaces or even in the academic setting. So these are some of the signals that we can monitor. So we can monitor for the lungs, so the respiratory rate or the volume. Then for the heart, we can use ECG. Then we can monitor also skin temperature. For the brain, we have EEG, so we can monitor brain activity. We also have EOG, so we can track the movement of the eyes. Then for the muscle, we have EMG. Then for the hands or even the wrist, so we're using optical technology, so we can have BVP, EDA, and also the blood saturation. So the definition of a physiological signal, so it's a measurable biological data generated by our body's physiological process. So example for the heart, so it's physiology is that it will pump blood, right? So we can monitor that activity by the means of the electrical pulses through the ECG. So we can monitor the heart rate, and we can also monitor the heart rate variability. So the major characteristics of these signals is that they are dynamic and they are time varying. So they have changes, it will change along the within time. Then often it's noisy because, example, if we measure the ECG or EMG, so we have the skin. So the skin is a very good barrier. So sometimes, even if we attach electrodes, so it will still have noise. So that will introduce noise to our signal. Then it also requires specialized sensors. So maybe in the future, if you want to specialize in making sensors, so yes, this is a very specialized field. So these are just the classification of the physiological signals. So mainly, it's classified into bioelectric, bioacoustic, biooptic, biomechanical, bioimpedance, and biochemical. So mainly for the bioelectric, so these are the group. So the EMG, ECG, EOG, EEG, and ECOG. For the acoustic, so there's sound. So we have PCG. So PCG is actually the heartbeat. You can hear the heartbeat. So that is a physiological signal. Then also the speech, voice. So we're using that part. Then for biooptics, so PPG, so this is a very common signal. So that's the one that is being used in smartwatches, smart bands, even smart ring, if you have heard about Aura. Then for biomechanical, so there's the blood pressure, BP, ICP, BM, and SB. So for the impedance, so this is SGR, so this is galvanic skin resistance. So when you're sweating or not, so that changes the impedance of your skin. Then for biomechanical, so there's the BG. or blood glucose. So these are the names of the signals being spelled out. So I will present to you the most common that's being used. So in my study, so I'm using ECG. So it is the electrocardiogram. So it measures the electrical activity of the heart. So one of its main applications is that it will detect arrhythmia, just like for the Apple Watch. So if it detects a regular rhythm of your heart, so that's what we call arrhythmia. Then we also use it to monitor cardiac health. So there are a lot of heart diseases that can be diagnosed using ECG. Then of course, heart rate variability. So heart rate variability is also one of the metrics when it comes to sports performance and general health of an individual. So this is the basic ECG signal. I think some of you are familiar about it. So this, we call this the ECG wave. So its parts is just P, Q, R, S, T, U. So easy, right? Just the sequence of the alphabet. So the most important part here is actually this one, the QRS complex. So this is what we use to measure heart rate. Then this is there are lots of ways to measure ECG, by the way. So this one in this example, so this is a 12-lead ECG, but you can use just the single lead. So this is a strap, you put it on your chest and it will record ECG signals. Then the next one is the EEG or electroencephalogram. So it monitors brain activity. So this is useful for epilepsy detection, for having seizures. Then it can also be used for brain-computer interface. You can use brain activity, the waves, to control maybe something in the monitor. So you can use it to control the computer. Then it's also used in sleep studies. So it will measure brain activity and then it can be used to measure the different stages of sleep. The next is the electromyography for the muscle, so for skeletal muscles. So this is to measure the electrical activity of our muscle. So every time we use our muscle, there's actually electrical activity because of the nervous system. So we have very small amounts of current running through us. So this is very useful for rehabilitation, to therapy, prosthetic control, and for movement analysis. Then the next one, PPG or photoplethysmography. So this is very common. So this is being used in a lot of smartwatches, straps, also rings. I think there's a lot in the market. So this is the waveform of the PPG. So this is just to indicate how much of your blood volume passes through a part of your body. So usually if it's in the wrist, so the veins, so the amount of blood that goes through there, so that is what it's measuring. So every time when our heart pumps blood, so once it reaches that part of your body, so your blood volume goes up. And then it will decay, so that means the blood has gone there, and then after the next pump of your heart, so it will also increase again. Then we have electrodermal activity or GSR or galvanic skin resistance. So mainly this measures the skin conductance. So the conductance of our skin changes depending on actually how sweaty it is. So if you're nervous, so usually we produce sweat, so it will decrease the resistance of your skin. So mainly it's used for stress detection, because usually when we are stressed, so we produce, our sweat glands produce sweat. Another application is that it's used in emotional response measurement and psychophysiological studies. So there are a lot of sensors. So like for breath, mask, watches, glove, we even have knee pads. For the feet, for mechanical, so if we want to measure the gait or how we walk, so we can use insoles. Then for contact lens, we can also use that to monitor the movement of the eyes. Then sometimes there are mouth guards to measure the saliva, to detect alcohol or sugar. Then there are some they use patch, so they attach it to the skin. Then there are some that use microneedle. So there are some glucose monitor, so they just attach it to the around here to monitor the blood sugar of diabetic patients. So they can monitor their glucose. So yeah. So I think I've already talked about wearable technology. So mainly the benefits of making it wearable. So it's used for continuous monitoring, also for mobility and large-scale health data. So these are just some of the technology that we can wear nowadays. So maybe in the future, if you want to design, you can design these wearable technologies. So there are also challenges in acquiring the signal since it's noisy. So there are a lot of issues like motion artifacts, so the subject or the person is moving around, so that can introduce noise to your signal. Then there are also sensor placement error, so it's not placed properly, so it could fall off or the electrode is loose. Then there's also environmental noise, so from the environment like electrical interference that can also affect your signal. Then we also have skin contact issues, because the skin is a natural insulator. So the electrical signals may not be that good quality. So these are just to illustrate. So this is for the ECG. So this one, so there is movement. So we call that wandering baseline. So instead of having the signal at a straight line, so because there is movement, so the signal has a wave here. But we can remove that using filtering. Then there's also the AC interference, so power line interference. So it could be caused by leakage or improper grounding of the equipment. So there will be noise added to the signal. Then there's also muscle tremor. So we have an ECG signal here, but because of the movement of the another muscle attached to it, so there's an introduction of a muscle tremor here. Then another one, so sudden movement or motion artifact. So it could be caused by epidermal signal or stretching the skin, or maybe the patient coughed, so there's a sudden jerk movement, or also ambulation. So this is just a general pipeline on how we process physiological signals. So the first one, of course, is the signal acquisition. So how do we get those signals? So mainly through the sensors or the electrodes. The next is the pre-processing. So since we have noise in our signal, so we have to remove it. So mainly we do filtering, normalization, or detrending. Then next, once we have a clean signal, so we'll get the feature extraction. So there are a lot of features. So the ones that I've been saying, like heart rate, blood pressure, the oxygen saturation, some of those are features, but there are other features that are more mathematically involved, I'd say. Then after getting the features, so we'll do the analysis or classification. So we do that by using statistical methods, or we can also incorporate machine learning and AI to do the analysis and classification. Then next, once we have the analysis, we're going to interpret it. So how does it relates to the movement in our body, or to the certain diseases or ailments, so we can relate that to the signal that we get. So this is where my study comes in. So this is the name of my study. So it's the analysis of heart rate variability and game performance of elderly people while playing serious games. So in general, in Taiwan, they have a larger proportion of elderly people. So those are people aged 60 years old and above. So there's a huge, not a huge, but a growing proportion of elderly people. So to make their life have a higher quality, so my advisor actually thought of what if we can use heart rate variability and also game performance to assess if there is a relation to their cognitive impairment or in their normal cognitive activity. So actually serious games, so it sounds serious, right? But it's just games that are made for medical or educational purpose. So that's just what it means. So mainly, so these are my specific objectives. So first is that we would like to investigate the changes in HRV, or the heart rate variability, while playing. There are two types of games. So one is the cognitive. So they are made to recognize certain items. And then the second one is more on the reaction games. So they are made to react as fast as they can. So we'll investigate if there are changes or not. Then the second one is that to investigate if there are effects of cognitive status in HRV. So the cognitive status just means that if they have normal cognition or they are already experiencing cognitive impairment. So it may lead to dementia if it goes on. Then the third one is to compare their game performance with the different cognitive status, like the normal cognition versus mild cognitive impairment. Then the last one is using machine learning to detect cognitive impairment among elderly subjects based on their HRV and their game score. So this is my signal processing pipeline, so as I've illustrated before. So we have here the acquisition. So we're using ECG signal, the raw ECG signal. So that is acquired using electrodes. Then after we acquire the raw signal, then I use the trending and digital filtering to remove the noise. Then to get the features, so I use automated and manual IBI. So that is just interbit interval extraction. So from one beat to another heartbeat. Then we also have to detect the artifacts and then remove it from our signal. Then next, feature calculation. So there are three main kinds of features that I use. So first is the time domain features. The next is the nonlinear feature and the power spectral density. So this is frequency domain features. Then after that, after I got the features from the recorded ECG, so I used statistical analysis. So I used, first, we must have to test for normality of our data. So that is very important. So first of all, we have to use normality test so that we can use the appropriate statistical method for analyzing our features. So, because in statistics, there are parametric and non-parametric methods. So if there is normal distribution in the data, so we will use the parametric method, but if it's not normal distribution, so we will use the non-parametric method. Then I also used chi-square test. So this is to determine if there's a significant difference between the predicted and observed frequencies in one or more categories of our data. So in this case, I use it for the gender, if there is a significant difference for the male and female elderly participants. Then I use Mann-Whitney test and robust mixed model ANOVA. So my data is actually non-parametric. So I use non-parametric method. So it does not have normal distribution. So I use non-parametric methods. So in the Mann-Whitney U test, so I compared the two independent groups. So the normal cognition and the people with mild cognitive impairment. Also, it is in terms of age, years in education, the MOCA scores, game score, and reaction time. So MOCA, so that's what we use to determine if a person has cognitive impairment or they have the normal cognition. So there's a list of questions that they have to answer. Then, for robust mixed model ANOVA, so that is for comparing two or more independent groups while treating the subjects with a repeated measure. So since they have to play two games, so it's a repeated measure because it's the same person. So we are repeating measurement for one person. The next to that is the post-hoc analysis. So this is also a non-parametric method. So it's the Wilcoxon assigned rank test. So it's to compare two related or matched groups. So it's a paired analysis. So in relation to the pre-processing, so I go back again. So of course, its main purpose is to remove the noise and artifact. So we do that in signal processing. So we use the filtering, baseline correction, and signal normalization. So this is just an example from if you have an EMG signal. So this is the raw data. So to remove the noise, so we use filtration. Then to remove the negative values, not rather remove or to move the negative values, so we use rectification. So rectification, we just use the square. It's just x squared. So the negative values, they go up here. So they are squared. So that's why there are no more negative values here. Then the next one is the smoothing. So we smoothen the signal. Then to get the envelope or the shape of the signal, so we use root mean square. Then for feature extraction, so it is just to extract meaningful characteristics. So we have heart rate, frequency bands, signal peaks, variability measures. So this is to convert our raw signal into something useful. So for my study, so I use these features. So they have their own significance. So HR, so that's just the heart rate. So that is the sympathetic nervous system activation. So when your heart rate is high, so it could mean that you're nervous or there's something stressful going on. Or if it goes down, so it means you've relaxed, something like that. Then there's RRI, so that is just R to R interval, so the peak of the ECG. So it's just to have measure the heart rhythm activity. Then there's also the standard deviation of the N to N. So actually NN and RR are similar. NN just means it's the normalized R to R interval. Then it also reveals something about the HRV assessment and the parasympathetic nervous system activity in short recordings. Then PNN50, so that is just the percentage of differences between adjacent R to R intervals that are greater than 50 milliseconds. So that's also used for parasympathetic nervous system activity index. Then the last for the time domain feature, so it's the root mean square of the successive differences of R to R intervals, also measures the parasympathetic nervous system activity. Then for sample entropy, so it's related to complexity of the R to R interval. Then for the frequency, so there's total power, low frequency power, high frequency power, and the low frequency to high frequency ratio. So these are all related to the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So in classification, so we can use machine learning in our physiological signals. So it can be used to predict disease, so disease prediction, diagnosis could be, emotion detection, and sleep stage classification. So there are several algorithms that we can use. So if there's someone that's familiar with data science, so there's the SVM or support vector machine. We can also use neural networks or deep learning. But in my study, since I was not that experienced with machine learning, so I had difficulty in finding the right algorithm that will suit my data. So I use AutoML or automated machine learning. So this is the basic pipeline of the machine learning model. So first, so we have the raw data. Then we have to clean the data, of course. There's feature processing. There could be feature selection or feature construction. Then after that, we'll have the model selection, then parameter optimization, then model validation. So for me, I use this one. This is an AutoML. Its name is TPAC. So the automated part, sorry it's not clear. So it's actually doing this one. So it makes a pipeline for me so that it can clean my data. So it also can also select the features that are related to my aims and purpose. Then it can also do pre-processing, construction. Then it can also help me select the model that's appropriate for the data that I collected. So TPAT means tree-based pipeline optimization tool. So it builds the modeling pipeline for my machine learning. So it uses a tree-based structure. So that includes my data preparation, modeling methods, and the model hyperparameters. So since it's an AutoML, so it's the one that does the searching for me. So it goes through thousands of different machine learning pipelines to find the one that works best for a specific data set. So if you're not that experienced in finding the right algorithm, so actually you can use AutoML or auto machine learning algorithms. So this is just one of the many AutoML algorithms. And then it generates the pipeline for you. So these are also tested using, for me I have the option, I used leave one out cross-validation. So there are many ways you can choose your model. So you can maybe base it on accuracy or base it on specificity, something like that. So for applications in healthcare, for the physiological signal, so this already exists. So there are cardiac monitoring, diabetes management, neurological diagnosis, remote patient monitoring. So its impact would be used for early detection and diagnosis. And it can also reduce the hospital visits. For mental health monitoring, so we can use also physiological signal. So it can detect stress, anxiety, fatigue, and sleep disorder. Then the signals often used is the EDA, so the skin resistance, ECG for the heart, and EEG. So that can be used to monitor brain activity. So this can be, this is actually an existing paper. So there is intelligent sensing for personalized mental health. So for this one, so for this paper, so they're using EEG, then they're using skin monitor for the skin resistance. Then they're also using PPG, so the typical smartwatch sensor. So these are the current challenges for personalized mental health. So it could be very subjective. Then there could be hidden early symptoms. Then there are also the stigma and the difficulty of discussing the mental health issue. So in using the intelligent sensing device, so they could provide a more objective assessment. Then we can also use AI for long-term monitoring and early detection of the mental health signs. Then we can also use data for localized processing that will ensure privacy and minimize exposure. So these are the sensors that they use. Then for the data, so they have HRV, EEG. Then we measure also the behavior, so the movement. Then there's also the data for sound and image. So physiological signals can also be used for human performance in sports. So its applications can be for athlete training optimization, fatigue detection, and recovery monitoring. So these are some of the sample metrics. So heart rate, oxygen saturation, muscle activity, temperature, and movement. So these are some that they can be monitored. Then we can also use it for human-computer interaction like interface, adaptive gaming, or emotion-aware systems. So like this one. So we can use EEG. So it's able to be applied in robotics, rehabilitation, also prosthetics, and education. But there are also ethical and privacy issues. So there are concerns like personal health data protection, data ownership, consent, and the AI bias in the health predictions. So we must be responsible in using this physiological data. But for the future trends, so we can use AI for diagnostics, there's continuous health monitoring, we can create a smart healthcare ecosystem, and there's also the digital human twin. So this is just not for industry, it can also be used for biomedical applications. So these are just a summary. So the physiological signals provide deep insights to our health, the human health, and there are advances in sensors and AI that can transform our conventional healthcare. And to move forward, so we need to have ethical and responsible use of physiological data. So that's all. Thank you so much.
We conclude Dr. Mycel's presentation. Please give her a big round of applause. Thank you, ma'am, for your impactful presentation. We now open the floor for questions. I request all the participants to ask the question without any inhibitions.
Hello.
Hello.
Which type of partition are used for converting the physical energy to radiant energy? Which type of partition are used for converting the ECG signal into electrical signal?
Can you please?
Which type of partition are used for converting the ECG signal into electrical signal? ECG signal.
Transducers. What kind of transducers do you use to transfer from one energy to the other? For ECG.
For ECG? Oh, we just use electrode like it has a gel, and then we just place it on the skin, and then we have wire connected to the device to measure. Sorry about it.
Specific name like temperature to electrical or something like that.
Actually, it's just electrodes. Yeah.
Like a thermistor.
Actually, it's just a patch. Yeah, we just put it into the skin. So for me, it's ECG. I place it here and also here. So there is 3 LED ECG. patch, so we attach wires. So from the wire, it goes to the device, and then the device emits Bluetooth. So the Bluetooth signal is sent to the computer so we can measure the ECG. Oh, you mean the smartwatch, right? Any what? Is there?
In the patch that you made, is there an electrical signal that is being connected to the body?
No.
You just say.
Actually, from the patch, the electrical activity is from your body. So we just measure the electrical signal that your body is generating. Yeah. So actually we are familiar with smartwatch, right? So actually, where is that?
Okay, for the benefit of everyone, Professor is asking about the patch because you need to put a certain patch.
Oh, like this one, right?
Yes.
So for ECG, we just put it to the body. It's your body that's producing the electrical signal. It's actually in millivolts. Your body is the one producing the electrical activity. So the one you're familiar with is actually this one. So underneath your smartwatch, we actually have this one. So it's light. It's emitting light actually. And then your skin will reflect it. So the signal that is reflected to your smartwatch, so this is actually the signal that we're getting from it. Yeah. So it's your body producing these signals actually. Yes.
Professor is asking if the electrodes is single or multiple electrodes.
It could be, it depends on the study. So some they use one, some they use three. Then for some they use a lot, like the 12 lead ECG. So this one, this is 12. But for some study, they just use one in the chest, like this one. Then for my study, I use 3. So here, here, and here.
Is there a photo of a patch that you made?
It's in my other slide. Sorry.
Patch
Ay, go on there. Ay, no. Ay, be.
because they're asking about the
Okay.
maybe this
Sorry.
So what is the picture of a patch that is attached to the body so that you can get signals for your health monitoring. So what myself will take maybe give a little time so that she can show you the patch that is being attached to the body. Yes, maybe if there are any questions, then we may ask now so that Dr. can also explain.
Oh, no. Ay, wala. Ito lang sa...
Apin na lang.
May I know the name? What kind of name?
It's just disposable electrode patch.
Actually, the professor asked a question about what kind of patches they use for the ECG. So then here is the picture. So it's a normal disposable pad. This kind of pads they use in that. And another question from the professor is that how you implement the SPPU, your support vector machine, inside the healthcare?
How is
How
that?
the SPPU, your algorithm, is in support
Oh,
vector,
the machine learning.
how you used it into your project?
Oh. So the machine learning. Oh. So actually, I use the machine learning to classify if the elderly person has normal cognition or if they have mild cognitive impairment. So I use the HRV features. So I use this one. So all of this. So I use this, I feed it to the machine learning algorithm, and it tries to classify if at certain point in which they can classify if the elderly person still has normal cognition or they're developing a mild cognitive impairment, or if they're going towards dementia already. But in my results, actually, yes, you can use the, the HRV does classify, but their game score is better. So by using the game score from the games that they play, so there is higher correlation with the game score compared to HRV, actually. So I hope that was clear for you. Yes.
They are asking about you use the electrical devices to monitor all the parameters. So how do you validate electrical device accuracy? For example, you get the result like you have the blood pressure around 120/80. How do
Okay.
you validate it's accurate? Or is there any tolerance like that?
Okay,
How do you
okay.
validate all that?
So for my device, so it's just measuring ECG. So as long as we can see the waveform, the ECG signal properly, so that's where we can say it's okay. But for example, yes, blood pressure. So in doing that, I actually have research regarding that. So to measure if my device is accurate, so I compare it with the golden standard. So for blood pressure, the golden standard is the one with the pump, right? So you put it in your arm, and then you measure the blood pressure. So I compare it with our device and measure the output from the golden standard. So there we can say if we need to adjust our device or it's similar to the output measured from the golden standard. So there are different ways in getting the accuracy. But for my device, we just measure ECG. So as long as we can see the proper ECG waveform, so we also verify it with the doctor, actually. So if we measure, we have the proper ECG signal, so That's the one we use. And we also verify it with the doctor. So if you want to go to the biomedical field, so you also work with the nurses, the medical technician, and the doctor also.
Yes, anyone?
Hello. Oh, brain signals. Oh, yes. We use ECG for that. Like this one. Yeah, you can use. But you still have to process the signal. So this one is the signal, then we process it so we can classify it if there's happiness, sadness, or you feel stressed or nervous. There are already studies about it actually. Yeah. Yes, you can. But I think the challenge will be in how you process this one and how fast. If you want it to be real time. So the processing speed is also a factor. Because yes, we can process this one and we can use it to control robots or how they can detect human emotion. But if you want it to be real time, so we must find the algorithms to make it faster.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor to introduce our next keynote speaker, the energetic person, Dr. Firoz Mulani sir, for the first international conference at Dattakala group of institutions. Dr. Firoz Mulani sir is an accomplished academician and research professional with 14 years of combined experience in academia and industry, including more than 10 years of experience in the academic field and leadership, and along with that, 4 years of industrial experience in the research and development. Dr. Mulani sir served as a lecturer and head of the department in polytechnic and engineering institutions, where he played a significant role in academic administration, curriculum planning, and student mentorship. During his tenure in academia, he contributed extensively in institutional quality improvement and outcome-based education initiatives. He also held several key administrative and quality roles, including NBA, NAC coordinator, external academic monitor committee member, and skill development coordinator, actively supporting accreditation processes and institutional development. Currently, Dr. Firoz Mulani sir works as a research and development engineer at Labre Optoelectronic Technology Company Limited, Taiwan, where he focuses on innovation-driven research and development on practical engineering solutions aligned with industrial needs. His professional interests includes optoelectronic technologies, applied engineering research, academia-industry collaboration, and skill-oriented engineering education. Dr. Mulani sir actively promotes the integration of academic research with industrial applications and participate in national and international academic forums to advance knowledge exchange and collaborative innovation. Through his academic and industrial engagements, he continues to contribute towards bridging the gap between engineering education and industry requirements, fostering research culture and encouraging technology-driven problem solving. So, may I request and once again welcome Dr. Firoz Mulani sir for being present over here to guide us, to address us. So I request all the students, please welcome with a huge round of applause our next class keynote speaker, Dr. Firoz Mulani sir. Thank you. Please welcome. Yes.
का मागं अडकवता हातमध्ये येईल नाहीतर ते अडकायचं परत 4 वेळा. ठीक आहे, आत ठेवा म्हणतात, पडेल ते हलताना. पॉइंटर मला सांगता का जरा?
पुढे घ्यायचं बॅक साईड नेक्स्ट
पॉइंटर आहे ना. ओके
हे नेक्स्ट हे बॅक पॉइंट
हां ओके ठीक आहे. ओके check okay. I will check the time, so I'm aware about that. It's like a lunch time, so I don't take too much time. So I conclude my session within a time because my friends asked me to reduce your session for 30 minutes. Okay. So good morning, all of you. It's my privilege to be here in this institution because I started my early career from this institute only. I worked in the Polytechnic College as a lecturer in 2010 year, where Honorable Sir and Madam gives me opportunity to work in various areas. So I must be thankful to them, and I started my presentation. So this presentation or this topic is very much related to our day-to-day life, because what happened nowadays, we faces the challenges like you hear about the war situation between Iran and US. Because of the war situation, there is one way, it's called as Hormuz, Strait of Hormuz. And because they stopped that strait, we didn't have the enough crude oil and LPG. So we read daily that the rate of the LPG gas, LPG cylinders is going up. Is due to we using the fossil fuel. So it's really time to move towards the renewable energy which will be freely available in the environment. So my topic is about the net zero energy building. So we will see what actually is and how it will be implemented in the real-time applications. So the first thing is that if we see the structure of how we consume the energy, because from waking up to going to the bed, every second we use the electricity. And if we see the electricity uses, then we can see easily here that the last 10 years it will be increased by 20%. So the energy consumption is increased, and if we see this part is this energy is consumed by Asian countries, and we belongs to Asia. So it's very much, if we compare the another countries, then the consumption in the Asian countries is very big. Okay? So if we consider about how we generate the electricity, the actual, nowadays we can move towards the renewable, but before that we use the fossil fuels, ordinary fossil fuels and all the things. So we can see, if we see, so near about 37% energy is created by using the coal. So because of using the coal, there is too many adverse effects are there, like pollution and too many things on the health. And that's why we can move towards this part. It's called as a renewable energy. And if we see by using this coal, oil and natural gases, so this part is around more than 60%. So if we use the non-renewable energy sources, then the carbon dioxide emission is going increased. So if we see the CO2 emission, then we can see it's increased by 6%. So this figure is showing very less, but it impacts a lot. That means if we increase by point factor, then also it affects directly on our body. So the next part is about if we switch towards the renewable energy like solar or wind or hydropower, how we can accumulate all that thing. So if we see this graph, so we can easily see that by 2028, the renewable energy is increased by near about 40%. So it's a huge impact on our life. And if we see the renewable energy, the main part is solar energy, which is used or which also we call as a solar PV. So its projected capacity, you can see it's increased too much. It's around 600 gigawatt. So nowadays, what are the global challenges towards using the non-renewable energy sources? So we see that 36% of global energy consumption is due to the buildings. So the buildings are different kinds of buildings, like a commercial building or the residential building, any kind of building. So all that energy consumption is about 40%, and due to the building sector, the carbon dioxide emission is going up and it's badly affected. Okay, so that's why we need to transit towards this net zero energy buildings. So basically in my research, I just analyzed the things that what kind of renewable energy sources are using in the worldwide. So I found that the different like photovoltaic thermal systems as well as for the wind energy we can use, and we can use the different kinds of optimization techniques to use the NZB. So basically what is the net zero energy building? So if you consider this hall, if you consider the hall, we can see too many electronic appliances are on. Like the light is there, the coolers are there, and some computers are there. So all this energy we taken from the outside grid. We cannot produce the energy in this building. So the net zero energy building is that if we use some part of energy, then we can create the same amount of energy in the building itself. We cannot take from the outside. So we can create the energy in-house. So that is the net zero energy building. So why this net zero energy building is required? So we can, if we consider the very first part, that the climate change mitigation, because if we consider the Paris Agreement, so the Paris Agreement suggests that the increase in the temperature is do not exceed the 1.5 degrees Celsius. But nowadays, due to the global warming, the temperature is increased drastically. So we need to monitor the temperature and try to reduce the temperature. So this is the major part, and we can have the energy independence. That means try to use maximum energy from our building only. Do not try to use from the external grids. So the main technologies, what kind of things we are using to have the NZEB, the main part is the PV, solar. So we can see nowadays the energy production in India is about 600 gigawatt, and in that 600 gigawatt, the solar energy is around 250 gigawatt. So maximum, nowadays there are too many solar plants are there, that's why maximum energy is used by this solar, as well as the major importance is this, the battery. Nowadays we see everybody is trying to move towards the EV, electric vehicles, whether it was car or it is a scooter. So maximum people, they rely on the EVs. And in my research, the main heart of the research is using this part, ACWH. So it's an air conditioner water heater. We only know about the AC. So what is the purpose of AC? So AC is used to cool the air. We can feel the coolest air inside the room. But by using this ACWH, we can see further how it works. So this is the major role in the renewable, that we use the solar PV as well as we reduce the dependency on the fossil fuel, and we use the transition towards the renewable energy sources. Okay? So this is how we can use the energy storage. So the main part is this, grid stability. Because what happens nowadays, if we consider the summer season, then in the summer season, in the afternoon, it's very hot. So everybody try to turn on the AC or turn on the fan. And due to that, if everybody turn the appliances, then the energy consumption is increased and grid will be unstable. And due to that, transformers, they are getting bust, they damage. So we need to stabilize the grid. So by using this energy storage, the grid stability automatically will be there. So this is the part how we can use the renewable NZEB in the different buildings. So the first part is about on-site. That means if this is the net zero energy building, we can implement the solar cell or the wind turbine or another things on the roof. It's in the premises only. In the second part, the RES is used at the site only. Then the third part is available, that is there are different kinds of certificates are there, we can take from the outside also. And the final is the purchase of site renewable energy sources. So my research basically depending upon the off-site. Because if we consider the small house of 1 BHK, so we know the area of 1 BHK is around 600 square feet. So in the 600 square feet, it's not possible to implement solar cells on the roof. That's why we put the solar cells nearby and we take the energy from the nearby cell. So this is the purchase of RES, and it's called as a green purchasing. If we take from the renewable energy, then it's a green purchasing. So this is the framework of my system. If you see here, this is our grid. In a very ordinary language, we can call as a transformer. The one transformer is situated in our village, nearby to our house. So we can take this energy to our house, and there are different appliances are there. But in my framework here, you can check. Here is an energy management system. The house, which is having the solar cell here, solar roof. Here are different loads, like we have the washing machine, refrigerator, or another kind of AC load, as well as we have the DC load, like LEDs, or we can use the laptops or mobile devices for charging. And this part is air conditioner water heater, and here is the charging and discharging controller and the battery. So what happened inside? If our house wants to use the AC load or DC load, then we can use the energy, maximum energy from the renewable energy sources. For example, if we want 10 kilowatt hour for one day, and if this solar cell produces 12 kilowatt per hour, then whole usage is controlled by this PV cell. But if this PV create only 5 kilowatt hour and our load required 10 kilowatt hour, that means we need it's a difference of 5 kilowatt hour. So it's not possible to generate from here. So again we can come to the grid. So that means we can use both the grid as well as this PV array, and it's the bidirectional. Nowadays we can see most of the company, they given some incentives. If we generate more energy, you can able to sell back to the grid. So this is the main framework of the system. So this is the heart of the system. So if you check this, it's like a air conditioner, but this air conditioner is attached with this hot water outlet. So the ambient air is taken from the environment. This part is giving the cool air. So this part is work as a AC, air conditioner, and the part of that is given back to the circulator and condenser, where heat vapors are generated, and these heat vapors are transferred to this tank where water is heated. So by means that by using only one devices, we can use as AC as well as geyser or heater. So it does the dual role. So it's the heart of the system. So what is the key benefit? So if you see, it's maximize the efficiency, then the space saving, the major. If you want AC separate and geyser separate, then the space is more, but these devices combined together, so the space is less. So like this, it's having some key benefits. So in my study, we use the different modelings here. I don't go in depth in the modeling, so I just only show you this coefficient of performance plays an important role here. And some PV modeling, how we can model the structure, how much, in my research, I use this PV panel. So these are some specifications about the PV panel, how we can use inside. Then the different kinds of technical specifications, how much maximum temperature we can take, how much coefficient of temperature is there. So these parameters plays an important role while simulation the system. Then the major part, apart from the ACWH, is the battery. So this is the basic. In my research, I use the lead acid battery. It's a little bit older one, but in nowadays they use the lithium-ion battery. And in recent only, I think you hear about the news in China. They produces a battery which will be goes for 500 days without any charging. So 500 days, that means it's near about 1.5 years. So if you use the simple battery, you cannot charge, you can use it for 1.5 years. Just imagine, if this battery is implemented into your phone, then no need to charge your battery. Because nowadays, the youth, they are very used with the social media and all that things, so your battery is discharged rapidly. If you charge in the morning up to afternoon, your battery is going down and you need to find where is the switch. But if you use that kind of battery, no need to worry about near about 1.5 years. So it's a major advancement in that regarding the battery. Okay, so this is some specifications about the battery. So this is the structure which we developed in our lab with the help of our professor and with the another faculty members. So we developed this structure with the battery model, and depending upon that, we use the different simulation results. The main part is, another one is the time of use. So in the name itself, it reflects that depending upon the time, the tariffs are different. For example, in the morning, do you know how much is the rate for 1 kilowatt hour in India, in our region? You see your the bill, electricity bill at home. Every month your parent they pay the electricity bill. May I know how much is for 1 unit of electricity? How much is the charge? Huh? 3 rupees. So okay, very good. So around 3 rupees for 1 unit. But this 3 rupees is for whole day, from morning to evening. For all day it's only 3 rupees. But some countries, what they do, in the morning we use more energy in the morning and at the evening. In the afternoon we are coming to the college, or our parents, they go to the farm or for the job. So we cannot use at home. So in some countries what they do, if the demand is more, they charge more. And if the demand is less, they charge less. For example, if the morning demand more, they charge about 4 rupees. In the afternoon, less. So they charge about only 2 rupees. And again in the evening it goes high. So we need to manage to shift our load to the afternoon, so we can have more benefits. So this helps a very major role to save the money. So here you can see the low peak in the morning is only 0.70. At the high peak you can see the time here. These are considering the commercial buildings, offices. Office is basically start from in the morning 8 to up to the late night. It's a 10 o'clock. So you can see the high peak. So it's a 2-tier. Only 2 changes are there. But some countries they use the 3-tier. You can see the base, very base, low peak and high peak. So depending upon the time, you can see from 7 to 10 is here. Because from in the midnight, from 12 to 7, it's time to sleep. We cannot use more appliances. So the energy rate is minimum. So many countries they use the different kinds of tariffs. So the Taiwan basically use this 2-tier. So in my studies I use the 3 countries, Taiwan, USA and France. So here I show you about the Taiwan, so how the Taiwan is changes. So here you can see, here in the summer it's 5.01 for this, okay? And for the off-peak, the minimum usage is only about 1.96. So you can check the difference. Here 2 NTD and here is 5 NTD. So for 1 kilowatt hour, 3 NTD is the difference. So we need to move toward. So just tell me what time you use, this one or this one? 5 or 2? Definitely 2. So you'll shift your load to the 2. So try to move. So that's why they encourage us, try to shift your higher load towards the off-peak load. Okay, so this is the different feed-in tariffs. That means if we generate the energy by ourselves, we can sell back to the grid. It's called as a feed-in tariff. So we can generate energy by ourselves and sell back to the grid. Is this, and we can earn some money, as well as the major part is that greenhouse gas emission, that is carbon dioxide emission, it's reduced. Another one is, it plays a terrific role nowadays to reduce the global warming. It's a green electricity. The name itself indicates that it's a greener, that means no pollution. And if we want no pollution, then try to use the renewable energy. So these are some part that we use the solar, wind, hydropower or the biomass. So for that some countries they have RECs, the renewable energy certificates for the different companies. And here in my research I use these parameters. So I use for Taiwan, USA and France. So I take the different capacity, different feed-in tariff rates, because every country they have the different rates, as well as the normal electricity rate and the green electricity rates. So these are the rates I taken from the different websites from their government officials websites. Okay. So these are some financial implications, how we can manage, how we can save the money, and how we can get maximum efficiency. So another one is the maintenance and operating, because we use the battery as well as the different appliances like ACWH or the PV cell, so everybody has its own life. So we can need to maintenance, or we can need to replace the batteries. So we can manage the optimization modeling by using these parts. The next one is about the running economy, because while using this system we can use in-house as well as we can sell back to the grid. So we can need to how much energy we save and how much energy we buy. And the last one is how much electricity we sell back to the grid. So different kinds of parameters we consider to have this kind of things. Okay, and the last, the objective function is to minimize this PY, is a payback year. How much, for example, we build a house with renewable energy sources. If we consider, we pay around 5 lakh rupees. And after that, after how many years we can easily get the 5 lakhs again. That is the payback year, and also is taken consideration into the battery and ACWH. So these are the different parameters we use in the simulation. So this PV panel, this panel basically manufactured in Taiwan. So I take this panel and this battery and some conditioner, and this company Hitachi, they basically produces the AC, but nowadays they're moving towards AC as well as the water heater together. So these are the different seasons, because in every season you can see here. So the different season, the water, if we consider the water heater, in summer basically we prefer the cold water. In winter season we prefer the hot water. So the temperature, the time of heating the water is different in every season. That's why we consider about the inlet and outlet temperature. And these are the different load data which is taken from the website NREL, which is very famous in the USA, which provides all the data. So I taken the data and having the different load profiles. So further we see the different load profiles. You can see here, basically this building is the office. So we know that the office is starting, they can see here, the different ranges are there, and is the different seasons. So for different season, the load is different, and I average this load. It's not that the office only use the 3 kilowatt hour, it's not possible. But I normalize for the simulation reasons to this maximum. Okay? Again, this another load profile is about the apartment, a small apartment. Okay, you can see the apartment, they use the maximum energy from evening to the midnight. In the morning, it's a little bit, in the afternoon it's less. And again, it's about the single home, only a single dwelling. So every building having their own load profiles. They are different from each other. The users are different. For example, some people, they really like to use very hot water during the bath. Some people, they don't like. So depending upon your habits, the load profiles is changed. Okay, so this is the hot water demand for the bath. So I take the, for simulation, basically in our culture, in India, we bath in the morning. But some European countries or some Asian countries like Taiwan, they like to take bath at evening while coming back from the work. So that's why I take this from this at night or at the evening. So this is basically how the system algorithm goes on, what kind of inputs we take, some different load demands, battery parameters, and there are different constructs are there, like battery charging, battery discharging, or what kind of timing is used, and this is the outputs we get. How much is the battery capacity, what PV capacity we used, as well as how much is energy, how much energy we sold, how much energy we take from the grid. So this is the system algorithm. And this is the analysis by using whole things. So if we see that the payback year here is reduced by 6.59%. So it's a huge difference. That means if we use the green electricity tariff, if we consider this one, so look at here, it's 12.43 years and it's only 11 years. So that means around 1 year we pay less. So 1 year is not a small duration, it's a huge. So it reduces by 6.59%. And it's a 3-tire, okay? You can see here, it's a 2-tire, only 2 changes. Here is a 3-tire. So by using 3-tire, we save 9.29. So in 2-tire, only 6%. In 3-tire, it's around 9%, so 3% less. So obviously the green electricity tariff, by using this, it's beneficial. Okay, so this is the comparison. So you can see for 2-tire, for Taiwan, 6.51, 9.21. For USA, 10, 13, so near about 3%. For, again, France, for 2-tire, 11, here is 12. So it's again near about 1.5%, okay? And this the discussions is about how much energy we save. So you can see here how much payback is reduced by using different profiles. If we use the commercial building, if we use the small dwelling or apartment, so we can see it's a huge change in the electricity consumption. So again, by using the 3-tire, okay, it's more. So by using this graph, you easily see that if we consider these two, France and Taiwan, okay, so the 3-tire almost reduces the 42.34% by using ACWH and the energy storage system. So it's a huge that, and here it's around 39% if we consider Taiwan and France. Again, for the it's about the load A, it's about the load B. The different loads having the different, I'm sorry, I make a mistake here. I'm really sorry for that. So it's about the changes in the percentage of how much energy we save, right? So again, it's about the load C. So the different loads having the different percentage saving. And final discussion is about if we switch the load from high peak to low peak, then definitely we will save more energy. We will have more benefits to shift our load from to high to low. And the final discussion is about the 3-tire is reduced by 14%. And for doing all that things, what are the basic benefits are there? So if you see the first benefit, this part is very important nowadays to reduce the global warming. So that is the CO2 emission is reduced drastically because we faces more challenges. There are adverse effects on our body, on our environment, is the carbon dioxide emission, is the pollution. So the main part is to reduce that. Also we support the climate neutrality goals. You hear about the SDG goals, Sustainable Development Goals. There are different goals out there, and inside that one goal is to use the cleaner energy. And these are some conclusions, like by using the NZB we save the energy, we can make the environment more clean, we can have the more access to our home, we can use our own energy. Just think about that. There is no any transformer in the village. Just imagine our parents, they are most of the students, they are from the farmer background. Our parents are doing as a farmer. So just imagine your parents, they wake up in the morning because they are load shedding. So they can manage their sleep depending upon the load shedding. If the light is coming in the midnight, they can wake up at the midnight, they go to the farm, they can spend whole night to the farm, and in the morning, early morning, they come to the home. Again, the light is off, again they come to the home, again after 1 hour, the light is on, again they go to the home. So this dependency will be reduced by using green energy. So this is the main goal. If we generate our energy, just imagine that our motor pump, our farm motor pump is using near about 50 kilowatt hour in one day. It's an example only, 50 kilowatt hour. And if your solar plant is developed 60 kilowatt hour, that means we are 10 kilowatt hours more. So we can use whole energy to our farm. So no need to get up in the morning, no need to get up in the midnight or like that. So there is no any dependency. We are independent. So that's why most of the world, they prefer the green energy to reduce the dependency on the non-renewable energy sources. So these are some future work, how we can enhance. So some of my friends, they talk about the AI, about the neural network, about the machine learning. So in future, for that also, we can use these kind of things to improve the efficiency, to improve the things inside this part. So this is about my presentation. Thank you, thank you. And one more thing. I'm very much thankful to, in the morning what happened, I have some problems with my presentation. So one of our students, he's studying in computer engineering in 3rd year. I think his name is Vishal Giri. So he helped me a lot. So I must, Kaushal, sorry, I'm sorry. His name is Kaushal Giri. So he helped me a lot. So I must thankful to him, and also the technical team. All the students, all the co-conveners for this event, they treat us like a family. By the way, I'm the family of this institute, but my friends, they feel like they are at home only. So they enjoy a lot because they very much impressed with the facility they provided here, this kind of organization of this event. Whole team members, they take a keen response, or they help a lot. They never feel that they are in the Philippines or they are in the Indonesia like that. So they feel like this is our home only. So I must thankful all the faculty members who take part directly or indirectly to organize this kind of conferences. By the way, this is the first conference here, but it not feels like it's the first conference. And also the credit goes to the students, because apart from your help, it's not possible at all. So I must thankful to all the institute as well as the conveners, co-conveners, all the members from this institute, from top level to the bottom level, from the management to the peon. They play a very vital role to have this kind of organization. I must thankful to all of you. Thank you.
With that, we conclude Dr. Phil's session. Please give a big round of applause to Dr. Phil sir for an wonderful session. Thank you, sir, for your insightful presentation on the topic named as Planning Next Generation Net Zero Energy Building through Renewable Energy Storage Integration. We now open the floor for question and answers. I request all the participants to ask the questions without any hesitation.
I hope there is no need to have an interpreter, right? We can directly communicate with each other. Yes, good afternoon. Yes. Yeah, exactly. It's a very nice question. Basically, it's a problem for all of us, because if we see in the city side, it's very difficult to situate the wind farm. So the most feasible thing is that the solar cells. If we consider to install the wind farm, it's not feasible to install. For example, if we want to generate the 50 kilowatt the plant, so the most feasible and the most convenient, as well as if we consider regarding the efficiency, so the solar cell will be the best for that. Okay, I'm sorry, I cannot hear you clearly.
What about light energy and geothermal energy?
Yeah, we can use the geothermal energy too, but what happened? Everywhere geothermal energy is not possible. The biomass is not possible everywhere. If we consider the buildings are very close to each other. If you want to take the geothermal energy from the earth, it's not possible. So best way is to implement the solar cells on the rooftop. Yes, thank you.
Yes, please, anyone else?
Yeah, in my simulation, what we do that. Yeah, exactly. We talk about the battery which produced by the China. But here we use the lead acid battery. In my research, I use the lead acid battery, and we need to change after 20 years. But if we use the battery which developed by China, so no need to worry. We can use it further, 40 years or more than that. Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. AI. Yeah, because what happened nowadays, India is moving towards the renewable energy, and most advancements is going on in the India too. So Taiwan is a little bit ahead from that. So if you consider about the AI, in India AI is implemented from 6 months or it's a span of 1 year. But the Taiwan actually implemented from 3 years. So it's more than that. And also what happened, there are some limitations about the seasonal effect. So what happened in India, we have the full solar radiation in summer only, summer season only. But if we consider the Taiwan is a tropical country. So there is the solar capacity is available throughout the year. So if we consider the generation, so here the generation is limited. So in India the generation type is limited. So Taiwan generated more energy. So little bit they develop the infrastructure for the bigger size. So this is only the difference nowadays.
Taiwan is one step
Ahead than India because of the technology. As you all know that the Taiwan is it's a major producer of the semiconductor, and due to the semiconductor technology we know what kind of evolutions are there. And fortunately I have the opportunity to work in that country to know all the things. So definitely in future in India also do all the things, because most of the company they are coming from Taiwan to India. They have tie-up with Indian companies, Indian universities. So they want more manpowers. So in future maybe our students also they can build this kind of structure here. Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you very much. I definitely, we will definitely try to the beautiful girls from Philippines and handsome guy from Indonesia, they definitely come for next year because they feel like this is the second home like that. So they are very much eagerless, and you can feel that the three of them are very enthusiastic. They are very friendly with all of you. They don't hesitate to talk with you. The one major drawback from our side only, I feel that we hesitate, as we feel that, oh, they are foreigners, so how we are going to there and how we can communicate, but never feel like that. So we have this kind of platform in future also. Just remember that I am also from this region only. I am from Katewadi. I think you know about the Katewadi. So I am from the little. I start from my education in the diploma. I did my diploma in Maregaon. I did my bachelor's in government college, and then only I have the opportunity to go. So never feel that we are from the rural side. You have that kind of confidence. You just want to build a confidence like that. And I hope this institute definitely gives you that kind of support. And I just want to take 2 or 3 minutes of you. Their university, they have the collaboration with our college. So if you want to go to the Philippines or Indonesia for the internship program for 1 month or 15 days, they can welcome you. They want you to go there to see their student, what innovations are going on, what kind of students they're doing their research, so they can have the interaction. If their students, they want to come here, then their students also come here. They have the communication with you, and you can open your arms to welcome. I think खूप पाठीमागे एक एअरटेलची ॲडव्हर्टाइजमेंट यायची, हिंदीमध्ये होती ती, निगाहे निगाहों से मिलाकर तो देखो, नए लोगों से रिश्ता मिलाकर तो देखो, आसमां सिमट जाएगा तुम्हारी आगोश में, चाहत की बाहें फैलाकर तो देखो. I want to say that if you open your arms to welcome the people, they can definitely come to you and they welcomes you. Yeah, that's it. I hope I don't take too much time, because my friends, they do like that, just stop your presentation. So I respect them. And again, I thank all the organizers and all the students. Okay, thank you.
Now I request Dr. Sharat Karne sir come upon the stage to felicitate and welcome our guest Dr. Ebora sir, Director of Shri Kuba Institute of Management and Science, Ghargaon, Ahilanagar. Sir, please. Thank you and welcome, sir. Now I request respected Dr. S.A. Patil sir to come upon stage to felicitate and welcome our next guest, Dr. Santosh Shinde sir, Head of Department, Sai Kripa Institute of Management Science, Ghargaon, Ahilanagar. Thank you. If you have any queries, our volunteers will guide you. Please be free to ask them on behalf of our organizing committee. I wish all the best to all the participants. Thank you so much.